everybody. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. My apologies for yesterday for Facebook. It seems like the live stream didn't go through. We're not quite sure of why, but I hope it goes through today anyway. So we'll continue our reading of Raya Ramananda Samvada, and we'll have a short kirtan. Today is Tuesday, the 7th of January, I hope. Okay, so we'll have a kirtan. Dandavats. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Aradhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Arayaniti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatyarishatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Gaura Prasthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshaviti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, 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 Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe, Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, O Radhe, 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 Radhe. Jai Shri Shri Guru Garanga Ganhabhaga Giridhari Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nityananda Rai Ki Jai Sachinandana Gaurahari Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astota Sarashishimat Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astota Sarashishimat Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Param Gurudev Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astota Sarashishimat Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astota Sarashishimat Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Mahabhagavat Srila Gaura Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan Gaudi Bharattaracharya Ki Jai Jai Rasik Siromani Srila Vishnath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Treya Ki Jai Jai Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami appeared Ki Jai Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shri Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bharadasa Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai Jai Swarup Damodar Raya Ramananda Gaura Parsada Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikahol Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Shri Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Jai Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samagata Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gauda Premanandi Hari Hari Bol Om Aginati Mirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Guruve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kathamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Priya Surupe, Dayata Surupe, Prema Surupe, Sahajabi Rupe, Nijana Rupe, Prabhu Eka Rupe, Tatana Rupe, Swavilasa Rupe, Anapita Chirim Chirat Kuranavartino Kalo, Samarpaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam, Hari Purata Sundara Tutikatamba Satipita, Sadahridare Kandare Svudatu Vasachinandanaha, Yam Pravajantamana Petyam Apeti Krityam, Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava, Putre Titam Mayatayo Taravo Benidustam Sarvabhutam Hridim Munimanatoshmi, Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay, Shiptascha Karmadi Tarangamadye, Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapana, Prinde Namaste Charanadavindam. Bhajami Radham Aravindanetram Smarami Radham Madhurashmitasyam Vadami Radham Karuna Baradram Tato Mamasti Katina Kapi Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvaivina Iti Vignaya Radhe Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam. I'm first of all offering millions of Dandavat pranams to the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotar Sarashishi Machila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again millions and millions of times unto the lotus feet of our most beloved Nitya Lila, Pravishta Om Asta Uttara Sarashishimat, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. I'm also offering my prostrated Dandavat pranams to our dearmost Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Prabhupada, and to all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. Vansha kalpa tarubhyascha, kripa sindhuvyeva patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So we'll continue our reading where we left off yesterday. So we're just beginning this Raya Ramananda Samvada, and I'm very happy that we're reading all of the verses, because as we said yesterday, the atmosphere that is created by Srila Krishna's Kaviraj under the tutelage of Sri Raghunath Das and Swarup Damodar, they lend authority to the subject matter. Just the whole description of where Mahaprabhu has just previously come from, the Shringadev temple, and then the description of their meeting, their embracing, etc., and the Smarta Brahmins following along and witnessing this very wonderful embrace that Mahaprabhu is giving to Ramananda Rai, and then their conversation in between. It all lends itself to a support for the authority and speciality of the subject matter. So I'm very happy that we're reading all this through. So we're on page 24 today of this book, Ramananda Rai. Text 37 is where we came to yesterday. Yola?
Thus,
24.
yes.
Tomara Kripaya.
I think, have you read that initial? Thus.
The commentary before that?
Yeah.
Yeah? I can read it again.
Yes.
Thus, he was a pure Mahabhagavat, a liberated devotee of the highest order, devoid of any material desires. We're talking about Ramananda Rai here. The high-born Vedic Brahmanas had been initiated into the performance of all varieties of yagyas after studying thousands of branches of the Vedas. Considering Sri Ramananda Rai to be a Sudra, they thus guaranteed themselves entry to the hellish regions. As it is confirmed in the Padma Purana, Vikshete Jati Samanyat Sa Yati Narakam Dhruvam. A person rushes to hell when he considers a devotee of the Lord to belong to a particular caste in terms of birth. So Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada is always commenting on verses like this, because he was preaching to the lowest of humanity, those born outside the Varnashram system, outside Bharatvash, and with really basically no civilization to rest upon, the Malechas and Yavanas cult in the West, we can say. So Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is always making shastric statements to support that anybody from any standard of life can come to this highest perfection of life if, Prabhupada uses the word earnest, if he becomes sincerely earnest, whether he's a Shudra, a Kshatriya, a Vaishya, a woman, a laborer, any walk in life whatsoever, can attain this highest estimation if he becomes sincerely earnest, is the wording that he uses. Whosoever is desirous of factual spiritual attainment and genuine auspiciousness should become the servant of Sri Ramananda Rai. Ramananda Rai, of course, is a Ragatmika Bhakta. He's Vishaka. He's a Ragatmika Gan. So we are in the line following the Ragatmikas. We're Raga Anugas, following them. Okay.
837. Tomara krupaya tomai karaya nindya karma sakshat Ishvara tumi ke jane tomara marma.
Your mercy alone makes you perform this condemnable act. This condemned act is embracing a lower caste man. You are directly the Supreme Controller himself. However, you are controlled by bhakti. Who can understand your true purpose? We should also appreciate the dynamic here is one of their words are in a mood of Aishwarya. Ramananda Rai is considering Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be that supreme person, that Lord Narayan. Yesterday we just touched briefly on the subject of Puri Dham being Aishwarya Dham. We shouldn't become confused about what is Aishwarya and what is Madhurya. This is all depending on the mood of Sri Krishna, or in this case, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. For example, Navadvip Dham is Madhurya Dham. Mahaprabhu Nimai Pandit. He has Lokik Sambandha. He has familial relationships with the people of Navadvip, with the milkman, with the tailor, with the perfume seller, with the flower garland maker, etc. He has congenial relationships with them, just like Krishna had very congenial relationships in Vrindavan. This is Madhurya. And he's not seen as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas in Puri, practically the entire time, he's seen as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though he's trying to cover his true identity. When he squirts tears from his eyes, everyone is thinking this must be the Lord. When he pushes the Ratha Yatra cart with his head, when even elephants and a whole army can't pull it, Mahaprabhu just pushes it with his head. This is an act of Aishwarya. When Mahaprabhu exhibits these forms of as a tortoise, etc., this is all Aishwarya exhibitions. So don't be in any doubt whatsoever that this Puri Dham is Aishwarya Dham. They even have 4 arms, it's described in the Shastra, the residents of Puri Dham. So everyone is seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. At Vaitaracharya, he saw the universal form. Nityananda, of course, knows his true identity. Gadadhar knows his identity. Everyone is witnessing the Lord. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya composes so many verses proclaiming the Mahaprabhu to be the Supreme Lord. So this is so different in contrast. Whereas in Navadvip, Jagannath Mishra, his father, will chase him with a stick, will want to chastise him and punish him. This is not seeing any type of Aishwarya at all. Mother Sachi is fully in a mood of Madhurya. So we have to very, very distinctly know the difference between Madhurya Dham and Navadvip and Aishwarya Dham and Puri Dham. So now we're in the Godavari. And again, Ramananda Rai, he's saying here, you are directly the Supreme Controller himself. He's seeing with that vision. Srila Prabhupada says that it is improper for sannyasis to see materialistic persons or to associate with Shudras, but being controlled by his own mercy, Mahaprabhu did not consider Sri Ramananda's position as a Shudra. Thus he performed the despicable act of touching him. Being controlled by prem, Bhagavan has indeed performed dishonorable acts repeatedly, such as becoming the chariot driver of Arjun, eating the remnant fruits of the low-born woman, Shabari, and associating with the hunchback, Kubja.
838 Amanishcharite tomar hiha agmana paramadayalu tumi patita pavana.
This low-born woman, Shabari, is the woman that Ramchandra, when he was in the forest with Lakshman, she had been waiting for him. She'd heard a prophecy that she'd see him. So she was collecting fruits every day, but she wanted to make sure the fruits were really sweet and ripe, so she would taste them first. And then she offered these fruits to Lord Ram, who actually took them with relish, understanding her bhav, her mood of deep, deep attraction to Ram. So that is Shabari that was mentioned just then. You have come here only to deliver me. You are the ultimate storehouse of mercy, and you purify the fallen souls.
839 Mahanta swabhava ye tarite pamara nija karya nahi tabu yanatar gara.
By your own magnanimous nature, you always deliver the fallen and sinful souls. You have no personal business of your own, nor do you seek self-profit. Still, for the benefit of the living entities, you travel from house to house. The purpose of your life is only to deliver the fallen souls. This is Mahaprabhu embracing the sannyas ashram and is doing exactly this.
840 Mahad Vichalanam Nrinam Grihinam Dina Chetasam Nishreyasya Bhagavan Nanyata Kalpate Kvachit.
This is Srimad Bhagavatam 10.8.4. My dear Lord, sometimes great souls go to the homes of householders. This is Nanda Baba is speaking to Gagaracharya, who are generally fallen and deprived of the association of saintly persons. They do this simply for the eternal good fortune of such family persons, because often those family persons are so immersed in material affairs that they are unable even to visit the ashrams or retreats of the sadhus. Therefore, can there be any reason that you have visited me other than my own auspiciousness? So this is Nanda Baba speaking to Gagaracharya in the 10th canto. Nanda Maharaj spoke this verse on the occasion of Sri Gagaracharya's visit to his house in Nandagaon at the behest of Sri Vasudeva. In this verse, the two words, Grinam, attached householders, and Dina Chestasam, who are very lowly, being engaged in family maintenance and nothing more, indicate Sri Nanda Maharaj's humility. By the influence of bhakti, Sri Nanda Maharaj considered himself to be less significant than the straw in the street. So by the influence of bhakti, this humility is naturally going to manifest. Such saints do not even bestow their mercy upon the demigods, but upon householders like us. They rain a profusion of mercy, offering us protection. They are our factual maintainers. Commenting on the word Mahat in this verse, Sri Sanatana Goswami says, Mahatam Sri Bhagavat Sevaikanishtanam. The term is used to refer only to one who is absorbed in the service of Bhagavan. Does this indicate that Sriman Mahaprabhu is also a great devotee, engaged in the service of Bhagavan? No, he is directly the source of all incarnations, avatari. He is directly Narayan himself, but in a covered form.
841 Amar Sange Brahmanandi Sahasreka Jana Tomar Darshane Sabar Dravi Bhutamana.
Sri Ramananda Roy continued, there are uncountable brahmanas and other persons here with me. Behold how all of their hearts have melted simply by seeing you.
842 Krishna Hari Nama Suni Sabhara Vadane Sabaranga Pulakita Ashru Nayane.
Just see, I am hearing the holy name, Krishna, Krishna, coming very sweetly from everybody's mouth. Everyone's bodily hairs are standing erect with ecstasy, and tears are flowing from their eyes.
843 Akritye Prakritye Tomar Ishvara Lakshana Jivena Sambhave E Aprakrita Guna.
One can see the symptoms of the Supreme Lord in your bodily appearance and nature. How is it possible for the ordinary living beings, jivas, to possess such transcendental qualities that are found in Krishna alone? So Ramananda Rai is really exposing Mahaprabhu here.
844 Prabhu kahe tumi maha bhagavatottama tomar darshane sabar drava hailamana.
Hearing this, Sriman Mahaprabhu replied, O Ramananda, you are the best even amongst the topmost devotees. Therefore, only by your audience, not by mine, has everyone's heart melted. Quoting from the Padma Purana, Sri Prabhupada Siddhanta Thakur reveals to us the qualities of a Mahabhagavat devotee.
Tapadi pancha samskari navejya karma karaka artha panchaka vidvipra Mahabhagavata Smrita.
According to the path of ritualistic worship, the Uttam or Mahabhagavat is characterized as being a Brahmana who has undergone the 5 kinds of sanskars or purificatory processes, such as austerity, which are executed, who has executed the Vaishnava rituals of worship, such as deity worship, through recital of mantras, and through yoga, yajna sacrifice, offering prayers, chanting the Lord's holy names, and marking the body with auspicious signs, who has worshipped the Vaishnavas, and who has understood the Artha Panchaka, the 5 subjects of knowledge. And Jiva Goswami explains this in a footnote. Sri Jiva Goswami explains the 5 subjects as the worshipable Supreme Lord, his supreme abode of Vaikuntha, his assets or Tadiya, the pure devotees, his mantras, and the living entities. So Jiva Goswami is explaining this. In Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.45, Swayam Bhagavan himself describes the symptoms of the Mahabhagavat.
Sarva bhuteshu yapashet bhagavat bhavam atmanaha bhutani bhagavat atmanye yesha bhagavatottamaha.
My devotees see me as the soul of all souls within all living entities, and they see all living entities within me. Since they see me in all life forms, they give mercy to all beings. This is the vision of the Mahabhagavat, the pure devotees of the Lord. They will see Krishna in everyone and everybody, and they see Krishna also within themselves. They see Krishna in all beings, in all creation. This is easily understood by reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, especially the Chatu Shloki. The Chatu Shloki in the 2nd canto, 9th chapter, verse 33. These verses really illuminate this point very, very clearly.
845 Anyera ki kata ami mayavadi sannyasi amiha tomar sparshe Krishna preme bhasi.
What to speak of others? Although I am a Mayavadi sannyasi, I also am drowning in the ocean of Krishna Prem simply by touching you. Sriman Mahaprabhu is calling himself a Mayavadi sannyasi in order to reveal himself as insignificant and worthy of rejection. It is well known that he received initiation into the 10-syllable Gopal mantra from Ishvara Puripad. Before taking sannyas, Sriman Mahaprabhu very cleverly chanted a Vaishnava mantra into the ear of Srila Keshava Bharati, thus giving him initiation. In this way, he transformed him into a great devotee. Upon receiving those mantras back again from Srila Keshava Bharati, Sriman Mahaprabhu maintained the proper etiquette in regard to accepting a spiritual master. A beautiful pastime. During his manifest pastimes, a Mayavadi sannyasi is a follower of Advaitavad monism, the school of thought that is opposed to bhakti. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, was never a Mayavadi sannyasi in his manifest pastimes. So, this pastime of Mahaprabhu accepting sannyas, and he whispers the mantra into the ear of Keshava Bharati, then Keshava Bharati sells that mantra back to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just like this dynamic here. Mahaprabhu is the ocean where Ramananda Rai is taking all these jewels, and Ramananda Rai is going to again pour this ocean on the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
846 Ye jani katina mora hridaya sodite sarvabhauma kahilena tomare milite.
Indeed, in order to purify my very hard heart, which is dry and devoid of rasa, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had asked me to come and meet you.
847 Ye mata duhe stuti kare duhar gune duhe duhar darshane anandita mane.
In this way, Bhagavan and the devotee praised each other's qualities, and both fell into tremendous bliss to see each other.
848 हेन काले वैदिक एक वैष्णव ब्राह्मण दंडवत करी कैला प्रभु रे निमंत्रणा.
At this time, a Brahmin Vaishnav, following the Vedic principles, came there. He offered Dandavat Pranam before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and invited him for prasad.
Read the footnote, Maharaj. 8.
Okay, Sastang Dandavat Pranam are respectful obeisances executed by prostrating 8 limbs of the body, namely the thighs, feet, hands, chest, mind, head, voice, and closed eyes, by falling flat like a stick on the ground. So all of these bodily limbs are flat in a prostrated mood on the ground.
849 निमंत्रणा मानिला तारे वैष्णव जानिया रामानंदे कहे प्रभु ईशत हासिया.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that Brahmana to be a Vaishnava and accepted his invitation. Smiling, he spoke to Sri Ramananda.
850 तुम्हारा मुखे कृष्ण कथा सुनीते हाय मना पुनरपि पाइयेन तुम्हारा दर्शना.
Sri Ramananda Roy, I am exceedingly eager to hear from your mouth topics about Sri Krishna. Therefore, I wish to have your darshan again.
851 राय कहे आइला यदि पामर शोधिते दर्शन मात्रे शुद्ध नहे मोरा दुष्ट चिते.
Upon hearing these words from Sriman Mahaprabhu, Sri Ramananda Roy replied, although you have come to cleanse the heart of this fallen soul, simply seeing you is not enough to purify my distorted and polluted heart.
852 दीन पंच शातरहि करह मर्जना तबे शुद्ध होय मोरा ये दुष्ट मना.
O Lord, please stay for at least 5-7 days and kindly cleanse my contaminated heart. Only if you stay here will the consciousness of this fool become pure.
There is a beautiful poem, Maharaj, by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami. Dushtamana. Quote that later.
Okay.
853 यद्यपि विच्छेद दुहार सहाना ना यया तथापि दंडवत करी चलीला राम राय.
Although separation from one another was unbearable for both, Sri Ramananda Roy offered his obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and on his order departed for his royal palace.
854 प्रभु याय से विप्र घरे भिक्ष कैला दुयु जनार उत्कंठ्या आशी संध्या हैला.
Sriman Mahaprabhu then went to the house of the Brahmana and accepted alms, meaning took prasad there. Both the devotee and Bhagavan were eager within their hearts to meet each other again. Then evening came.
855 प्रभु स्नान कृत्य करी आचेना वशिया एक भृत्य संगे राय मिलीला आशिया.
After finishing his bath and performing his Sandhya, evening Gayatri Mantra meditation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat and chanted Harinam, waiting for Sri Ramananda Roy. Then Ramananda Roy, dressed as a common person and accompanied by one servant, came to meet him. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that a sannyasi bathes and chants the appropriate mantras 3 times per day, morning, midday, and evening. Hence, at dusk, according to the injunctions of Shruti, Sri Satchidananda sat down and chanted Harinam after taking bath and chanting the Sandhya mantras, otherwise known as Anik.
856 Namaskara Kaila Rai Prabhu Kaila Alingane Duyu Jane Krishna Kata Kaya Sestane.
Sri Ramananda Roy approached and respectfully prostrated before Mahaprabhu. The Lord arose and embraced him with great prema. They then began to discuss topics of Krishna in a secluded place. So now we're going to come into the topics of discussion. So Mahaprabhu is going to ask, what is the sadhya? What is the ultimate perfection of life? What is the ultimate goal? He wants to squeeze all the juice from Ramananda Rai. So there are 5 propositions by Ramananda Rai before we come to the place of prem. So the devotees should be familiar with these 5 propositions. There's Varnashram Dharma, then there's Nishkarm Karma, then there's Sharanagati, then there's Gyan Mishra Bhakti, then there's Gyan Sunya Bhakti. These 5. So in our study, in our absorption in this, we can appreciate these 5 topics are going to be discussed before we come to the topic of prem itself. And then we're going to cross over that line into prem itself. So these first 5 topics will be opened out gradually. So the first topic is Varnashram Dharma.
857 Prabhu kahe pad shlok sadhyera nirnaya Rai kahe swadharma charane Vishnu bhakti hoy.
Sriman Mahaprabhu began by saying, O Rai, what is this sadhya, ultimate goal, and sadhan, spiritual practice or method to attain that goal for the living entity? This is the greatest knowledge. Please recite verses from the revealed scriptures as evidence. We must have our authority to back up this, these propositions that Ramananda Rai is going to say. Otherwise, it's ineffectual. Receiving the order of the Lord, Ramananda Rai replied that the verdict regarding the ultimate goal of life is to perform Vishnu Bhakti, devotional service to Lord Vishnu, by executing one's prescribed duties according to his social position.
858 Varna Shramachara Vata Purushena Parapuman Vishnuraradhyate Panta Nanyatattosha Karanam.
Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Controller, is worshipped by those who properly execute the system of prescribed duties according to one's varna and ashram, spiritual and social classification. Apart from this, there is no other way to satisfy him. Vishnu Bhakti, devotion to Lord Vishnu. Srila Saraswati Prabhupada says that bhakti is indeed most pleasing and valuable for the human race. Apart from this, all else is undesirable and unsatisfying. Only the soul endowed with bhakti can accept Sri Bhagavan. By the continuous performance of Gyan Mishra Bhakti and Karma Mishra Bhakti, then gradually a special kind of realized knowledge which pertains to the topmost form of bhakti, Swarup Siddha Bhakti, awakens. In Sri Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna has said,
Swakarmana tam abhyatcha siddhim vindati manavaha.
1846. Mankind, by the constant performance of his own duty, attains all perfection. This is the beginning. This is the beginning of the path. We first of all have to come to the human platform. We all know very well that Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he wanted to introduce this Varnashram into the Western world. And he set up farming communities, etc., with this in mind, this idea in mind, to bring the conditioned souls to a human platform by following the 4 principles of spiritual life: no intoxication, meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, etc., and to live an orderly human life under the guidance of the Guru Varga, under the guidance of our worship of the Murti, etc. So he wanted to introduce this into the West, which he has done to a great degree. We have so many temples in the West, we have so much temple worship, Murti worship, we have so many communities in the West that are performing very nice services to the deities principally. So this is already going on by the mercy In the Western world, I'm talking about, of course. Of course, in India and Bharatvash, it's already there, but has become covered by the influence of this fallen age. And Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, again, he speaks about that in his little book, Search of the Ultimate Goal of Life. He says that in this first proposition, in the Bhagavad Gita, the personality of Godhead declares that the Varnashram system is created by him, although he is aloof from such a system. Because the Varnashram system is a creation of the personality of Godhead, it is not possible to do away with it. However, the nefarious activities of the people of the age of Kali can jeopardize the Varnashram system. We have purposely used the word jeopardized because the whole system still exists, but in a reflected form. So these are the comments of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He writes many words about this Varnashram in his book. It's very beautiful. All forms of life arise from Bhagavan, and this world itself expands from him alone. Even knowledge of this makes a man favorably inclined towards Bhagavan. Supremely pure disciplic succession, or parampara, of the path of devotional service is sanctioned by Bhagavan, Bodhayan, Tanka, Dramida, Guyadev, Karpadi, and down to Baruchi in the disciplic order. It is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 6.3.22.
Bhakti yogo bhagavati tannama grihanadibihi.
Devotional service beginning with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is the ultimate religious principle for human beings. We spoke about this the other day. This is when the Yamadutas came into the court of Yamaraj, and Yamaraj is speaking this verse, Etavan evalokeshmin pumsam dharma paroshmito bhakti yoge bhagavati tannama granadibi. So Yamaraj himself is speaking this verse. In this verse, the term bhakti yoga alone is capable of conveying the desired meaning. But the word bhagavati has also been used. The special meaning is that an endeavor may be called bhakti yoga only when the limbs of devotion, such as chanting and remembering the holy name, are performed to please Bhagavan, not to give us a feeling of being liberated or to being relieved of our various problems, because this is the result of any of us chanting in our neophyte condition. We immediately experience some bliss and some ecstasy and some relief from the onslaughts of the material energy. But this is not the purpose. The purpose is to please that Supreme Lord. Then it becomes bhakti. Otherwise, it's still on the path of moksha. Nevertheless, the holy name ultimately is going to bring that practitioner to the conclusion of understanding what is bhakti. When we read, I've said before, in this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami, he begins by talking about, in the first few chapters, the bliss of liberation. He's talking about this because we all come to devotional service to be freed from the onslaught of Maya. We understand this, perhaps, but we become clear on our diving into the subject matters of Srimad Bhagavatam, etc. But then afterwards, after a few chapters, then he talks about the bliss of devotion. It changes a complete dynamic. This devotion to the Lord, wanting to please the Lord. This is why it's very helpful for the householders generally and for the renounced order to worship Thakurji, to have murtis, to offer them your bhoga, your life, basically. You revolve your household around the satisfaction of Krishna in the murti form. So this is very, very helpful for our bhakti. But still, Mahaprabhu is going to dismiss it as being external, and it'll be described. In this verse, the term bhakti yoga alone is capable, did I just read that? Of conveying the desired meaning. But yes, I read all this. But that type of bhakti yoga is capable of I read this, sorry. The special meaning is that an endeavor may be called bhakti yoga Only when the limbs of devotion, such as chanting and remembering the holy name, are performed to please Bhagavan, that type of bhakti yoga is capable of bestowing prema bhakti. Prema bhakti. One is unable to apply the name bhakti yoga even to such activities as Shravana and Kirtana when they are performed with intentions other than the desire to please Bhagavan. It is never possible to achieve the fruit of prema bhakti by this. Only after the attainment of prem may it become possible to reach the stage of sneha, man, pranaya, etc. In devotional literatures such as the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Narad Pancharatna, use of the word bhakti exclusively indicates pure Bhagavat bhakti or devotional service to Bhagavan. Therefore, it is extremely clear that the word bhakti only applies to Vishnu Tattva. And the footnote is that Lord Krishna and his incarnations, not to anyone or anything else, not to moksha, not to swaga, not to material attainments. It is only possible to know what to do and what not to do by consulting the scriptures. This is why Sriman Mahaprabhu asked Sri Ramananda Rai to quote evidence from the scriptures. The definition of sadhya, goal, is desired object, abhista vastu. Sadhana, duties pertaining to the soul, is defined as service that is pleasing to Sri Krishna, who is sevya, he who is to be served. Only divine love for Krishna, which is utterly devoid of any desire for one's own happiness, is the true goal of the soul, as per the soul's constitutional nature. So unless the act that, or the propositions that Ramananda Rai is suggesting are pertaining to the soul, Mahaprabhu is going to be rejecting. Varnashram is not directly pertaining to the soul in its immediate consideration. It will purify the conditioned soul to reach his consciousness of the soul's identity. But in and of itself, the Varnashram system itself is not going to directly manifest that. It's an external consideration. Swadam Archana, following one's prescribed duties, Brahmanas, the priestly class, Kshatriyas, the warrior or managerial class, Vaishyas, the mercantile class, and Shudras, the service class, comprise the 4 varnas or divisions of society according to one's occupation, and brahmachari, celibate student life, grihasta, household life, vanapras, retired or partial renunciation from household life, and sannyas, complete renunciation, constitute the 4 spiritual orders or ashrams. When we adhere to the responsibilities ordained by the scriptures for these social and spiritual divisions, we are engaged in the performance of one's prescribed duties. So we should carefully follow. My Gurudev used to say constantly, whatever ashram you're in, if you're married or if you're renounced, wherever you are, if you're vanaprastha, if you're Brahmin, stay there. Don't try to jump these ashrams. Be happy and peaceful in where you are. Don't be looking quickly to change your ashram. This is not the purpose of life. The ashram actually is an external consideration. Be concerned with the transformation of our hearts in their attraction to serving and pleasing Radha and Krishna more. Only that is the consideration, whether you're in the renounced order or whether you're a grihasta or whether you're a brahmachari. The only consideration is how much is your heart melting in the desire to please Radha and Krishna. There is no other consideration. The ashrams themselves are quite external. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the same thing to Sannyasi Thakur. I think it's in the 2nd or 3rd chapter of Jayavadama. He's saying the same thing, that this is an external consideration, not the internal focus. By executing the prescribed directives that are suitable for one's social and spiritual status, it is possible to attain qualification to perform devotional service to Lord Vishnu. So it's a process. Swadharma, Archana, cannot be called the sadhan to achieve perfect devotion to Vishnu, which is the goal of human life. Therefore, the words of Scripture determine that devotion to Vishnu alone is the true goal. So this is what I just said previously in encapsulated form. Bhagavan Vishnu is pleased with the worship that is performed by executing the duties prescribed for one's social and spiritual status, which are determined by one's conditioned nature. Srimad Bhagavatam lists the respective constituent qualities of each of the 4 divisions. Then there's these verses describing. Want to go through that or leave that?
Yeah.
We can leave that. Or you going to go? Yes, okay, go ahead.
Shamo dhamma tapa saucham santosh kshantirajyavam jnanam dayachyutamatvatvam satyam cha brahma lakshanam shauryam viryam dhriti tejaha tyagachatmajaya kshama brahmanyata pradajascha rakshacha ksatra lakshanam devagurau achyuta bhaktihi trivarga pariposhanam आस्तिक्यम उद्यमो नित्यम नैपुण्यम वैश्य लक्षणम शूद्रस्य सन्निते शौचम सेवा सामिन अमायया आमंत्र यज्ञो हि अस्तेयम सत्यम गोविप्र रक्षणम.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Very nice. So this is from the 7th canto, 11th chapter, verses 21 to 24. This is in the Prahlad Charita. The symptoms of a Brahman are control of the mind, control of the senses, performance of austerities, cleanliness, satisfaction, forgiveness, simplicity, knowledge, compassion, truthfulness, and devotion to Bhagavan. To be powerful in battle, heroic, patient, influential, and charitable, in control of the senses, renounced, forgiving, devoted to the Brahmins, merciful, and always protective of the citizens. These are the symptoms of the Kshatriya. To be ever devoted to the demigods, the spiritual master, and Bhagavan, to always protect the 3 religious principles, religiosity, dharma, economic development, artha, and sense gratification, kama. To be theistic, to always endeavor for wealth, and to be expert in trade. These are the symptoms of the Vaishyas. To remain submissive to the highest sections of society, the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas, to always be very clean, to serve one's master without duplicity, to perform sacrifices without uttering Vedic mantras, to not steal, to always speak the truth, and to protect the cows and Brahmanas. These are the symptoms of the Shudra. So many qualities in each of these ashrams described. In much the same way, there are 4 spiritual positions, or ashrams, namely brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. Every human being should please Bhagavan by executing one's prescribed duties, dharma, according to one's spiritual position. In the Jvala Upanishad, it is stated,
Sa hovecha yajnavalkya brahmacharyam samapya grihi bhavet grihi bhutva vani bhavet vani bhutva pravarjate yadi vetrartha brahmacharya deva pravarjate grihad va vanadva yata atha punarvarti va vrati va स्नातको वा उत्सन्न गोग्निको वा यद्येवा व्रजेत तदार्व्रेव प्रव्रजते.
This is the language of the gods. The Sanskrit language has 55,000 sounds to it. English, for example, has 300 sounds. This is the language of the superiors. So when we hear this language vibrated, it's very purifying for the consciousness. The saintly Janak Maharaj asked the great sage Maharishi Yalvakya, "My Lord, please be merciful and explain the qualification for the position of sannyas and the rules and regulations to be followed by one of that order." Maharishi Yagyavalkya replied, "After completing one's time in the brahmachari ashram As a celibate student, one should accept the Grihastha ashram or householder life. Following that, one should accept the Vanaprastha ashram, in which one retires from household affairs. And after some time, one should accept the Sannyasa ashram, the renounced order of life. If feelings of renunciation arise in someone before entering the Grihastha ashram, then one may directly enter the Sannyas ashram. So my Gurudev is including all this in his commentary, and Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is the same. Even though Mahaprabhu is going to reject this Varnashram as the first proposition, as being external, still, both of these personalities, my Gurudev and Srila Swami Maharaj, they deliberate on this topic extensively. One should endeavor to please Bhagavan in the prescribed manner. If one deviates from this and instead turns to illicit behavior, then the result will be greatly detrimental, and one will attain a hellish destination. To follow the path of transcendental enlightenment is the foremost responsibility of the living beings. One's acquired nature, close association, and received teachings each have a discernible effect upon one's life. One cannot just whimsically perform his acts if he wants to attain pure devotional service to the Lord. In the present verse, beginning with Varnashramacharya Vata, Sri Ramananda Roy states that the sadhya goal for every living entity is the attainment of loving sentiments for Vishnu, and that the sadhan to achieve that is following the Varnashram system. So this is his first proposition. And we can read this 859, where Mahaprabhu is going to reject this.
Maharaj, just one small point. They are talking about not to steal, and this is the symptom of a Shudra.
Yes.
So if you look at the 10 Commandments,
Yes.
thou
Yes.
shalt not steal.
Thou shalt steal, yes,
So
yes.
that means it's...
These qualities are very high. Practically, we cannot find a pure Shudra today. And yet some individuals are walking around thinking that they are Brahman, they are Kshatriya, they are Vaishnava, etc. But the whole atmosphere in Kali Yuga doesn't lend itself to the real qualities of any of these ashrams. They're all polluted. They're all This is why Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he's saying here very clearly, jeopardized, because the whole system still, but in a reflected form. He says it very clearly there, in a reflected form. So I just want to read the first words of Mahaprabhu in response to this. And then tomorrow we'll begin the commentary on this, which is Mahaprabhu's reaction to it. But just the first verse we'll read today.
859. Prabhu kahe eho bahya age kaha ar Raya kahe Krishne karmarpana sarva sadhya sar.
Sriman Mahaprabhu said, what you have just said is external. Tell me something more than this. This external, age kahe ara, this means external. He'll be saying this for the next 5 propositions. Age means external, kahe ara.
Bahya is external.
Oh, sorry. Eho bahya, external. And age kaha ara, go further. Go further, yes, correct, sorry. So I baya, external. And age, go further. Sri Ramananda Rai replied, to completely offer the results of one's activities to Sri Krishna is the essence of all perfection. So we would think this path of Nishkarm Karma Yoga, which is what's about to be described, is the essence of all perfection. This is what Ramananda Rai is presenting, but actually there's a reason why it's not the essence entirely. There is more than this. So tomorrow we'll discuss this Nishkarm Karma Yoga and discuss why it's not entirely the essence, or not the highest essence. It's on the path. All of these suggestions, as we've said repeatedly today, are on the path. They're in Kram, but it's not the ultimate reality, which by the amazing fortune of our mercy, rather, of our Guru Varga, we are going to come to the conclusion of the highest fortune. So Ramananda Rai Samvada ki jai. Gold Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Vansha Kalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyevacha, Patitanam Pavnebhyo, Vaishnavbhyo, Namo Namaha. Gaur Premanandi.